Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Third Best Southgate, the show all about the most famous man you've never heard of. That's right. I am your host, Phil. As always, the most dangerous woman in podcasting, Miss Lilith Hellfire's here.
Howdy, that sounded dangerous. Ooh, Lilith.
And, of course, like I said, the man, the myth, in his own mind, Mr. Robert Southgate.
Yeah, that sounded dangerous, too. Wow.
I didn't say I was dangerous. I said Lilith was.
The introduction. No, you were given an introduction. It was a dangerous introduction. It's like The Dangerous Kitchen by Frank Zappa. So, all right. So we were already talking before people joined us. I put the word toothless down there because I've had a hell of a week. Some good, some bad, some spectacular, I guess. No. Since I saw you, spectacular. How's that? So you can tell by my hair, I have been working all day and realized I didn't even have a clean shirt on. So I ran up and put on the cleanest of shirts, my Marvel shirt. And unless you saw Secret Invasion, then you know it's not so clean. It's a dirty mess. And then...
oh, so you did what? You did... So you did watch it then?
No, I watched some of it.
Oh, you quit. You quit partway through.
I'm going to go back and do it, but my God.
It took me like an extra week or so to get actually work up the courage to watch the finale.
It's not good. It's not good. They're going to use the excuse it was a writer's strike, but the writer's strike was after this show.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it should have been a bigger grand scale like the comic was. Again, it's just like, at one point when she's like, oh, why don't you call in your friends, meaning the Avengers? I'm like, budget.
Yeah, maybe they also could have read the comics and pulled a little bit more from that because it's just kind of a blob.
It's not the Fahey way, babes. Sorry.
Yeah, man, it's a nothing burger, and it's got Samuel L. Jackson. We've all been waiting for this. It's like, do the big movie with him in the lead and give us what we want. But instead, we got this weird little dribble of
a desperate attempt to drone up some subscribers for Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, keep trying. Yeah. So anyway, Friday of last week, here's a bad one. I woke up and I'm like, damn, my mouth hurts. Something was bugging me. I usually tough things out, if I have, it takes a lot for me to say, okay, I'm going to go to a dentist or I'm going to go to a doctor. And I was like, I called the dentist. I made an appointment, told Maeve. She's like, oh, something's up. Yeah. So I got in there. It turned out I had an abscess and I had this funky tooth that was like hitting my tongue. And I could feel there was like a hole in it. Well, it turns out it wasn't. It was an old cavity that was filled way up high. Just junk, right? But it hurt. So we went to the dentist. There's an abscess. Turns out they think I cracked the tooth or I fractured it. And there was no hope. So out it came. I put little bags on it, went out the door. See, it wouldn't want to be. I gave it the stubby finger, and that was it. And, so I got a tooth pulled on Monday, and big deal.
More missing body parts, okay.
Yeah, I was full of jokes. I walked in, I said, okay, I'm on the ounce a year weight loss plan. Let's take the ounce right now. Yeah, I botched that whole joke. I stumbled through the whole thing. I was much funnier when I was getting a tooth pulled.
By yourself? Okay.
Yeah. When I was by myself. Hilarious. Oh, man. The best. So I had a tooth pulled. What else happened this week? I don't know. It's been a blur. I thought there was something else that was negative, but the tooth kind of overshadowed everything. You know what I mean?
Any trip to the dentist does. Like, I don't know what it is about the dentist, man, but it's just like bad vibes.
Yeah, I mean, this was all right. We like this dentist. They were really cool about it. Usually I have terrible experiences with dentists. And I don't have that dental trauma thing where it's like, I can't go. I can go and I'm fine. But I don't know. I get lied to a lot. I get told stuff that it's like, okay, well, you're just trying to get money out of me. I can tell. And it's not just like, well, we think there's a problem here. It's always some huge line of BS. You know?
Don't forget to get your oral cancer scan for extra $60.
Exactly. When I was a little kid, before grown-up teeth grew in, my parents had this dentist they took me to, who his big thing was he wanted my parents to have all of my baby teeth filled as preventative dentistry, so I wouldn't get cavities later. Thank God my parents didn't fall for that. But my dad, given time, would have, because up until recently, now he's got Parkinson's. He's not really going to the dentist at this point unless there's an emergency. He wouldn't go. He was still going to that guy. I'm like, how many boats did you buy this guy over time?
Did you put through college? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous. And he was doing it to my dad even up to the end, where my dad's like, here's my dad, like 80 years old, and he's giving him like Invisalign and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, why? Why? You're playing off his vanity and you're playing into it so hard. Stop wasting our money. It's like I kept looking at him going, well, there's anybody's inheritance is sitting there in your mouth right now.
I mean, there's vanity, because I've seen like grown adults. I mean, people like in their 30s, 40s getting braces. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Because their parents couldn't afford it when they were younger. I know plenty of people.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got like, I wouldn't mind
corporate.
Right. I wouldn't mind having a little work done to straighten some things out, fix things up a little bit. But
they're not stars. I'm talking people who aren't stars like you.
Yeah, right. But I got the tooth pulled, and even at that, I was like, I don't need to have a crown put in. I don't need to have an implant put in there. I did get butt implants, though. Is that vain? But they look like two teeth. I went to the wrong doctor. Right.
Well, some dentists, they do Botox and body work on the side. If you get the wrong dentist, it can be a little bit shady. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of which, the other thing I had to do was on, I think it was Monday, after getting my tooth pulled, the car sounded terrible. And I went and we bought brakes that day. I replaced the rear brakes, and I was like, okay. And YouTube is a magic thing. You can learn how to repair brakes for a fraction of the cost. I've done it before. It's easy. And I was like, okay, let's save some money here. We're bleeding money all of a sudden. We need to save a little bit of money until next month maybe. And Maeve took the car that night, and it was just grinding. The fronts were awful. So I replaced the front brakes the next day. So those were my terrible things. The good things are I got paid for the first time in a long time, like a regular check. I have now been hired, Lilith, listen to this. I have now been hired as the VP of Marketing and Growth for Four Horsemen Publications.
Yay!
It's a real legit job that I get to do in my Marvel shirt from home, and it's awesome.
So you feel like half a grown-up.
Yay! Rob's employed.
Yes, I went from mom's basement to the executive suite. So pretty cool, and they're hiring Maeve.
Oh, nice.
Not nepotism.
And then Molly's going to be right around the corner, too.
Oh, no, she was already talking like, well, Molly's going to run this and run that. And I'm like, she's 16. She's like, yeah, I know. But they did come out. They were at our house and had dinner with all of us. And they're like, this family is, they call us the Flying Southgates because we can do it all. Unfortunately, we know how the Flying Graysons ended. So Maeve and I aren't long for this world, I have a feeling.
Yeah, Molly's going to become our favorite superhero.
Right.
She will avenge you. Don't worry, Rob. She will avenge you.
Rob, I have to bring up, I see the whole family is appearing at Indy PopCon.
Yes.
Yes, but if you look at the guest list, I think it was on Facebook, I think I saw this, like they were listing the guests. Molly and Maeve are together towards the top, and then you kind of have to scroll down to find our favorite third best Southgate.
Third best.
Yeah.
I do the artwork, so that was my fault.
Oh. You know what? He doesn't even respect himself.
Oh, great. So I just got a text. Todd Stashwick is at Fan Expo. He's harassing one of the authors we work with, Megan Mackey. He's harassing her saying, Todd is saying, get your butt over here. Why aren't you here? Get over to... Oh, okay. I'm busy on Third Best Southgate. Sorry.
Tell him to come over.
Yeah!
We're all the way out in Crystal Lake. It'd be like, come on, it's only a 2.5 hour drive for you. When you could be there.
Send him an Uber Black, Uber XL.
Right. So yeah, I don't think that's. I'll text him afterwards.
Yeah.
So
harass him, say, "Here, come over and sit in this other house I keep, just you and me." Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting development too. So Southgate Media Group has partnered with Four Horsemen. This is before I was hired to do these events. We were going to do a thing called Writers Row at cons, where we bring authors and we set up panels, really cool panels. We could do after party things, kind of like the stuff I did for C2E2, but now I've got a publisher with me. It's really cool. And we're getting some really big authors, actually, that we would have in this. But I think that we're changing our model a little bit. I can't really talk about it. But we're doing the first one. We're doing Indy PopCon. We signed a contract, I think, for 2 years with them to do Louisville and Indiana.
That's Louisville's first one, right?
Yes, that was this year.
If you listen to Capes and Lunatics, you know that, Lilith.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's only Salty and Petty.
Right. No, and there's third best, Lilith.
Oh!
You're on the same feet.
And there's third best, Lilith. So yeah. So we're doing Indy PopCon. We've got a good list of authors. I'm excited. And while we were filling it out, while I was doing all this stuff, Erica, who is the CEO, said, "Why you should have one of those placards for Molly, because she's going to be doing live podcasting in the booth. I'm going to be, but chopped liver." She goes, "Molly should be." She's like all about Molly and doing read between the lines. And then I realized we have a book out. Why aren't we on that list? Because we'll be in the thing. I can bring books with, and Erica's like, "Yes." So instantly, Maeve, myself, and Molly, all in that book, all became authors on this thing. We get to take a slot for signing. It's going to be awesome. And then the crazy part is, I posted on Facebook that we were going to be there signing, and a couple of different people that are in the book that I didn't know were going to be there were writing on my feed, "Oh my God, I'm going to be there. Can I sign the books too?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, if we do a podcaster meetup, we'll have people can buy the books there, and you can get, I don't know, half a dozen people that were in the book sign your book." How cool is that? I could forge Phil's signature.
Well, how hard?
They'll think they met him.
How hard is it to write an X?
Yeah.
What is this, Deadwood?
I'll bring a light bulb with glasses on, and they'll be like, "Phil, you're really losing hair." I'll be like, "Gotham," and they'll go like, "Oh, it is Phil."
Have a soundboard with you, Rob. They
right.
won't believe it unless it's a drop a minute.
Right. And then I'll cosplay as Charlie, and they'll really know that it's Phil.
Oh, how dare you!
No, not too soon. Charlie lives in our world, man.
Oh yeah.
Because it was, bitches. See?
So,
I mean,
that's exciting.
I think it was like a month after Chris died. We were on This Week in Geek. I was still doing the Chris puppet, and I remember I think it was a Lil and Scott were kind of like, "Do you really want to do that?" I'm like, "Yeah," because Chris would love that. Charlie would love it. It's funny.
Oh yeah, we were talking about doing a Charlie puppet. I mean, Charlie would love that if he lived on in puppet form.
Oh yeah. The Chris puppet lived on my desk for a long time until we had the boys, who this is their house. They came over, and I'm watching a video that they all made, and I'm like, they're playing with the Chris puppet, and then boom, I can't find it. It's gone.
Rob got robbed.
Yep. How to find that Chris puppet on one of those Chris Hansen videos,
Those kids stole my toys.
So, let's get serious for a minute. Aliens exist. How do you feel about that, Rob?
Are you kidding me?
No,
Have we ever?
You still believe in aliens? And when they were doing that, I was like, okay, officially they don't exist. We're getting Project Bluebeam. It's fine. Never mind. Take my Space Force shirt off. We're done.
I even have a secret podcast about aliens and paranormal stuff.
Or at least I do.
Yeah. So, do I believe in it? Yeah, I do. Okay. Let's address this. Let's address this conference first. Amazing. All right? Just go watch the highlights and really pay attention.
Yes.
Pay attention to who's saying what, and you'll go, this is disclosure.
Yeah, but the main guy also had 2 mental breakdowns.
Doesn't matter. I would have it too if I knew these secrets the way, and he wasn't the only one on there. There were a lot of them on there that had a lot of information.
Hasn't stopped Rob.
Yeah, that's right. It led to a job.
Top secret cleaners, as far as we know. It's none of our business if you do.
So watching that, I thought it was fascinating. I mean, I thought this it was wild. And what the most wild part about it is it barely made the news. It's like this is literally...
I only saw it on Conspiracy YouTube, honestly. That's the only place I saw people talking about it, and like maybe Newsweek, I think, was like the most mainstream.
Well, I mean, look at this modern world. I mean, I told you, Lilith. I saw that.
It's not like a distraction for sure for somebody.
I saw that meme the one day. They said, the aliens are going to be so surprised when they say, we're taking over, we're going to overthrow your leaders, and we're all happy about it.
We don't have to pay rent, we're good.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to overthrow the government. Okay, sure.
You're cooking this, man. Just as long as we don't have to pay rent or taxes while you're doing it, just do what you got to do.
Rent's too damn high.
Yeah,
I mean, the ocean is literally boiling. How bad could it be?
Right.
How bad could it be?
And the reality of this is, I mean, even though they were saying all this and they were saying there's non-Earth entities or whatever, it's still not saying, yes, 100% this. Here's my take on it. This is why I believe in this stuff. I'm not like shaking my fist at the skies all the time. But here's my thing. Anyone that says flat out UFOs don't exist, well, they do, because it's an unidentified flying object.
Yeah,
unidentified,
aerial phenomena, I believe, is the term
right.
we use
now. It's UAP, right. So I throw something across here, and you don't know what it is. Guess what that makes it?
Yeah,
unidentified. So right there, argument's over. When people start saying, well, but it's aliens, it's like, okay, I'm not saying it's aliens. We don't know what this is.
It's always China. Let's just be real. Until it's not.
See, that's just it. I think that things like the weather balloons and that were soft introductions to the idea that it's not China.
Yeah.
Because if it was, why the hell are they messing with those weather balloon things?
It's a throwback to things. It's a fun time, bro. They're just giving us little Easter eggs.
They are. Yeah. They have a scratch across their face. It's Sam Jackson. Oh no, the cat did it. Spoiler.
The cat's pregnant. Watch out.
Yeah, watch out. Impregnated by aliens. It was a probe. So anyway, I don't know if that's what this is, but when I say I believe in aliens, what I believe in is we are a new galaxy, right? Mm-hmm. We are this new little galaxy in this big galaxy, which is huge, right? Mm-hmm. That is also a newer galaxy in this. Now that they've taken the telescopes out, they've seen there are billions of not stars, but galaxies out there that are much older than us. The odds that we are the first, the only, the smartest are...
God, I hope not. That would be really sad.
I know, we better not be the smartest.
What's that saying? Fermi's paradox on either end is terrifying. Either we aren't alone or we are. Either way,
right,
it's kind of terrifying.
Now, does that mean that they're coming here? No.
They lock their doors when they go by. Absolutely.
Right. It's like in Vacation when they drove through East St. Louis. Windows up. You know? So, yeah, I mean, do I believe in all that stuff? No, I don't. I'm open to hearing what's going on. I think we get lied to by a lot of different people, and there's a lot of reasons they lie. This conference was really interesting, and I can't wait to hear the next hearing. I think the most interesting thing was when they were asking for evidence, and rather than dodge it, he said, I cannot hear, but I'm happy to show it to you behind closed doors, which was not hey, I've got something I can show you. It was, I can't say this because I have a gag order on this, but I can, in a private setting, Senator, show you this. And that is...
above congressional discretion. Like, well, that's a lot of things. That's all I'm going to say. So it's like, I knew we weren't going to really get definitive answers because you can't.
Right, you can't. But I was fascinated by it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, and what's more fascinating is the lack of discussion, I definitely think. But I think a lot of people are just exhausted, though. There's so much going on right now.
If they could get us to intergalactic or interdimensional Bigfoot, I would be a happy guy. But, you know.
I just want them to admit we're the Martians. That's it. That's all I need.
Could be. We could have been seeded.
We blew that planet up and we didn't learn our lesson.
Right. So, yeah. Lilith, good question. I am fascinated by it. I've had a lot of conversations with people about it, but the most fascinating thing to me is the lack of interest. That also goes to, one of the reasons there was no disclosure for so long is they always said the public couldn't handle it if we brought this out. And I'm like, well, maybe we've hit that event horizon where they can handle it. They just don't care. Most people, I think, actually, there was a poll. It was a huge number. believe that we're lied to, that there is stuff, and it was like, whatever. The loud ones are the skeptics that don't do what a skeptic should actually do, which is to try to prove the other way. They try to do burden of proof on everybody else. There's no way to satisfy that until... I say, even if you had the best picture in the world that could not be debunked, people would still not believe it to debunk it.
Well, obviously, we've learned that because of the pandemic.
Right. And if you had... Yeah, no kidding. And if you had an alien walk into the White House and go up and they were able to show this is from here and this is this alien, people would still say, "Oh, that's
all
Biden
the AI stuff and the deep fakes and all that stuff too." Like it's a weird timing how all of a sudden ChatGPT 4 and 5 are just blowing up, and there's all this discussion about ethical use of AI, and so it's like
and Project Bluebeam, like you said,
right now.
Project Bluebeam. You know, they say that the Nevada lights were the Arizona lights thing, that was a Project Bluebeam thing, and it's like, I don't know if I believe that because of the Kurt Russell thing where he was flying the plane and he was on the top side of it. He was like, what the hell did I see? If it was Project Bluebeam, you wouldn't see a physical thing from the top that's blotting out the Earth.
Exactly.
And he didn't even know it was a thing until years later. He was flying over it, and years later he heard about this Nevada sighting and was like, wait, we were in a plane. We flew over this. He had no idea until recently that he was there. Doesn't mean he had a blocked memory. He just never said anything. But he had this really interesting perspective. And he's Kurt Russell, so you know he's telling the truth. And he's Kurt Russell.
Not as good as the Quaid boys, but I'll take a Russell.
I'll take her. A Quaid boy, Lilith, Randy Quaid. You're going to believe him?
Dennis, Jack, whoever.
Have you seen the videos of Randy with his big beard?
Phil knows how I feel about people named Randy, so it's kind of a joke. But
okay,
I don't know if I'd be throwing stones about unkempt people around.
Hey, Phil. Hey. Yeah, I was. I got to interview Sandy King Carpenter and name drop, and
really?
More than once. We know Sandy now. And when I interviewed her, though, the first time, I did not talk about John. In fact, I've been pretty careful to not even mention John. Now when she talks to us about stuff. She talks about John like we know him, okay? We don't, okay? But she's just like, oh, and John said this, and blah, 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 blah. In the beginning, it was like, we made sure not to mention John or whatever, because she's awesome in her own right and deserves the spotlight. Well, she has this comics company, and so I was interviewing her for that, but I actually came in, and I front-loaded with a bunch of knowledge about her history. And I said, I don't want to talk about Halloween, producing on that or this. I want to talk about, and I pulled some really obscure stuff, and she would just go.
As you do.
She's like, oh my God. And the best one was the Long Riders. And I said, Sandy.
Hey, now, this is on YouTube. Keep it family friendly.
Oh, no. I'm not going to tell a story other than I go, you're on set. I said, you're with the Quaid brothers? You're with the Keach brothers. I mean, right there, you're like, how do you wrangle this? Can you imagine? And then the third set of brothers, oh my God, Carradine, the Carradine brothers.
Keith and David, yeah.
And can you imagine, like, in between takes, everybody's sitting around, having a libation, talking about whatever, and you're like, these guys are all nuts. It's got to be just a party like you've never seen. It's like a friend of mine used to say when Tom Waits was married to Lily Tomlin. He'd always say, that's the Thanksgiving I want to go to. Can you imagine the Thanksgiving Lily Tomlin with Tom Waits? The conversation would be crazy. Although, now top it with the Quaids, the Keaches, and the Carradines. Holy moly. Sandy was just cracking up. She's like, it was everything you're thinking it was.
And more.
Yeah, she's like, it was wrangling insane cats. Just that's all it was. And she said, and you laughed.
And then throw in horses, not to mention.
And then throw in horses and fake guns that look like real guns. So they're just shooting guns nonstop. And they're just, it's like, oh my God. Oh, so
That's
awesome.
a deep cut. That's a deep cut, Rob. But I do like that movie.
So do I.
I grew up watching Westerns, so
Did you?
I'm very familiar, yeah.
What's your favorite, Lilith? Give me a couple of favorites.
Oh, I'm like pop country Western. So like I love anything about Doc Holliday.
Okay.
Let's see.
So Tombstone was a big one. That was a great Doc Holliday.
Yeah, Tombstone was good, and that's like kind of like that quintessential like '80s stuff. But I like do you know what's the one with the girl? It's the 90s, though.
The one with Drew Barrymore. That's a great one.
Yeah,
that's a great one. I can't think of the name of it. That was after Silverado, I think. Silverado was amazing. That one with the girls was great.
The 90s had great westerns, but like the classic western, like when you think like quintessential western, you think Clint Eastwood. Like his stuff's good, but like Gunsmoke.
Yeah,
Gunsmoke was like one of the longest running TV shows for a reason.
That's one of the things my dad loves. He still watches it. He just sits there all day watching Gunsmoke. He loves it. I watched 3 episodes and go, I think I just saw the same story 3 times.
Well, and you do. But like that also, like, you know, if you grew up on those Western, you know, Louis L'Amour Western books.
Yeah.
The same. So,
yep, it is.
And that's what they kind of based it on.
I love a good Western. I'm a big fan. Like, I like some of the old stuff. I mean, I really like some of the old stuff, but I really love a lot of the modern takes. Like, both versions of 3:10 to Yuma were fabulous.
Yes, that was a good one with Christian Bale. I really enjoyed that remake.
The Christian Bale one was amazing.
True Grit remake was really good, too.
Better than the original.
Yeah, I think so.
And my dad loves John Wayne.
It was Bad Girls. That's the Drew Barrymore movie.
Don't like John Wayne at all. But he did a couple of good ones. He did Red River is an amazing movie. And then The Searchers is great. But John Wayne's not my guy. I loved Silverado. I told you that. I loved Unforgiven. Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven. Oh my God. That's a hell of a movie. I'm trying to think. There's more modern ones too that I've seen that I've gone like, oh my God.
If we want to go 70s, I'd say The Shootist is a really good one.
Oh, The Shootist is great. Now there's a John Wayne one. Doesn't that one have Ron Howard?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's Ron Howard. I think so.
Why am I blanking on that one?
That's the one when he's old as hell.
You're right. Lauren Bacall and Ron Howard.
Yeah, that's a really good one. But see, once again, John Wayne sucks as an actor. Sorry, folks. He sucks as an actor.
It's not really the quality, it's the quantity.
He's a walking caricature. And he was also a gigantic a-hole.
Yes.
So, yeah, this guy, if he was around now, he would have been canceled.
Canceled so long ago.
So fast.
Maybe not.
No, he would have been. I mean, the Trumpers would have loved him, but that would have been it. I'm drawing a blank.
Eldorado was decent, as well as War Wagon.
Those are both good. Well, the John Ford stuff is good. It's really, some of it can be pretty great. I'm telling you, it's that modern stuff. Oh, what's the one, and I still haven't watched all the way through, the one with Robert Duvall and...
He made a couple of cowboy movies, so you're going to have to...
he made a lot. No. This is one from only like 20 years ago. It was Robert Duvall and what's his name? Untouchables and Waterworld and...
Oh, Kevin Costner?
Was that Wild Horses? From
No.
2015?
No. This one is called like Red Rock or...
Open Range is from 2023.
Open Range.
2003. It's
That's
2003.
It.
Yeah.
Open Range.
Is really good.
That's an amazing. But see, here's the thing. I've never watched it all the way through. I used to use it as a demo when I was selling video stuff. The scene where they have the gunfight when he shoots through the wall was a spectacular scene. From an audio and video standpoint, it was like, oh my God, this was like a tour de force. And I was so engaged in it, but I was always doing a demo, so I couldn't watch the movie. And it's one of those that sat in my queue forever, and I never watched it. It's funny. I was just at my parents' and I was helping clean out some of the basement, and my dad has a copy of it on DVD. And I was like, I think I'm going to take that home and finally watch it.
No, I'm going to give you a good Robert Duvall cowboy movie that is modern.
Everything Robert
Duvall.
Duvall.
A Night in Old Mexico.
What?
It's great.
You got me. I don't know that one.
Yeah, that came out in 2015. It is so good.
He's amazing.
I think you can get it on Amazon, too. So.
You ever see The Apostle?
No, I don't think I have.
See The Apostle. It's an indie film. It's probably 97. It's one that he made, and he's damaged in it. It's not a Western. He's damaged goods.
Well, my favorite Robert Duvall movie is Secondhand Lions. That's what actually got me into Robert Duvall.
That's a great one too. But he's just unbelievable. He's unbelievable. Watch his performance in Apocalypse Now. And it's easy to go, oh, he's playing this character. If you watch it, it's a gorgeous performance. You know where we know him from originally? I mean, we don't because we're too young, but Phil does.
Oh, I thought he was going to name drop again. I was going to say we're only at one name drop this episode so far.
No, he played Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird. In To Kill a Mockingbird, he's Boo Radley. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And then you watch his stuff and you're just like, my God, this guy, he's like a Gene Hackman. He was in everything, and he was
nothing.
But he was never not great.
Yes.
You know, Gene Hackman is that guy. Once after he did Tannenbaums, I think he disappeared, and it was like he went out on the highest of high notes. Like he was spectacular in that movie. You've seen The Conversation, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love The Conversation. I think that's a stellar movie. And then when the Will Smith one came out, I didn't know that was a sequel because they didn't say it was. But if you watch that movie, he's the same character in the Will Smith movie. Only it's like 30 or 40 years later, and he's like,
are you talking about Enemy of the State?
Yes,
that's the sequel to that.
It is, but it's not. He's the same character, same name and everything. And if you watch it, it fits like his evolution, where he was all paranoid and everything. He's the guy that has the cage, and he's like showing the Faraday stuff. It's the same guy from The Conversation. Yeah, it's wild. It makes that Enemy of the State a much better movie, and I actually liked Enemy of the State, but
it's one of the better Will Smith movies.
Yeah, Will Smith had a bunch that I liked, but I don't know if I go back to the well.
They were fun, but not
fun, but didn't have substance. Right,
yeah.
Right.
Enemy of the State actually was like relatable. It's like conspiracy theories. Yes, thank you.
Yes, I get it. Yeah, it's like when he did Life or Afterlife. Oh, that was terrible. Oh my God, you saw that one right with Jaden?
After Earth.
After Earth.
Well, it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, babes.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. When I figured that out, you notice how they never say who was directed by it in any of the promotion. They were just focusing on the Smiths. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I had no idea, and I like M. Night Shyamalan. I know he gets busted on. When he gets it right,
but he was at that point where his name was no good in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Will use that to make that terrible movie and put his son in a starring vehicle. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that was awful.
He got down on his luck, and it's a shame because I think Will Smith had too much input on that movie.
Yeah.
And I think that M. Night Shyamalan had he been left to his own devices, could have made something a little bit better left to his own devices.
Well, I think he's proven that.
Yes.
When hands come off, he does better. Although, I haven't seen Glass yet. But Unbreakable,
it's okay.
Unbreakable is 5 stars. That's an amazing film.
That's good.
Split is really good too, though.
Split is really good, but it's
Unbreakable
problematic.
Is my favorite one.
And then I didn't see Glass, and I was so excited for Glass, but I heard it doesn't hold up as well. Now, speaking of Shamalama Ding Dong, did you see The Visit?
Yes, I've seen The Visit. I love that movie.
That's one of our favorites. We talk about it all the time. There's bits of it that I hate. Like I could go like, oh, I don't like when they do the little video thing at the end of the kids singing, and it's like supposed to be kind of fun. I'm like, why is this here? This is dumb. But the twist in that one when the kids call the mom, that's all I'm going to say, was just chef's kiss.
I'm going to tell you his most underrated movie is Lady in the Water. I think it's beautifully shot. I think it was mismanaged and misrepresented in the trailers, but I think it's a great story.
I actually thought so too. I really enjoyed it, and Bryce Dallas Howard's great in it. Mm-hmm. There's the one guy that I reference all the time, and remember the guy that worked out just his right arm? He's got the giant right arm. I talk about that. I say that to Lil, but I said he's working out a different way to get that giant right arm.
you gotta switch to even it out.
That's right.
It's
and it was Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Who also I can watch him.
The best Rhino we'll ever have.
Yeah.
Live action Rhino.
Right. Terrible. He was, but that was terrible. Oh my God.
Oh, best Paul Giamatti movie, Cold Souls.
I don't know that one. Lilith,
it's where they like he's a writer and he has to like take his soul out and like it's like a little tiny black pebble. It's good. You gotta
Ooh, Cold Souls. We'll definitely check that one out. I loved him in Private Parts. I thought he was amazing.
Yes.
And his number one for me that I've seen is the performance in American Splendor.
Didn't I say Sideways? Okay.
No, American Splendor. You've seen that one, right? Either of you?
What's it about?
It's a comic book movie, you guys. You must see this. It's based on Harvey Picar's comics, American Splendor.
Oh, okay.
And Paul Giamatti. So, Picar's comics, they're fantastic comics. He was a clerk, I believe, a file clerk in Cleveland. And his comics are literally just his life. Like, it's a file clerk in Cleveland.
So,
and so much better. But there's a rainbow in every one. No, Charlie would have appreciated that. You know, the rainbow represented. So anyway, it was
Rob. Not to interrupt you, but thank you so much. I was worried with Charlie gone that we weren't going to be able to replace him in ways of
mustachio man.
Well, that and what was the name of that actor? What's the name of that movie? I mean,
do my part, Phil. I have been trying to do my part.
I know, but Rob feels that bill even better.
Catch me after 12 hours of work, and I definitely am a little bit slower on these things. So anyway, the movie is Harvey Picar's story, and it is stellar. It was the movie that, okay, I'm going to get another name wrong. The director that directed Crumb, did you ever see Crumb? Crumb is a documentary about Robert Crumb, and that's another comic book movie. You need to see Crumb. It is a spectacularly good documentary. Then see American Splendor, which is not a documentary.
But it might as well be.
Right. Harvey Picar is a character in Crumb. He's friends with Crumb. So he's in Crumb or talked about in Crumb. I can't remember if he's actually in it. But then in American Splendor, there's a part in the movie that is so amazing. Picar has a friend, a guy that used to be on Letterman all the time. Letterman thought Picar and this guy were hilarious, so he had him on all the time. It's this guy who wears this big, like, blue coat, and this guy, like, clearly, like, on the spectrum, okay? Just the ultimate nerd, right? He's Charlie with less social skills, okay? And he's just so spectacular. And Letterman had him on all the time, and he had Picar on because Picar is this weird, grumpy cartoonist guy. So in the movie, there's a part where Giamatti and the guy playing this guy in the blue coat break the fourth wall, kind of. I don't know if it's the fourth wall necessarily.
The wall.
Yeah, because they like walk off the set, so you're watching the movie, and they walk in where they're filming the movie with the director there, and Picar is there with the real Picar is there with the guy with the blue coat, and they're bitching about how they're. I didn't say that. I don't act like that. I think my coat was shinier. It's like this amazing moment in the movie that is so fitting for Picar's work. You really, really need to see it. But definitely watch Crumb first. One of the greatest nights we had, we used to go to this revival theater in Minneapolis. I can't remember the name. State Theater, maybe. It was the college campus. $5, 2 movies. Okay? So at Christmas, when my parents said, "What do you want?" Could you buy us, I don't know, $100 in movie tickets so we can just go every weekend and not have to think about it? It was great. Well, on Valentine's Day, they called it Have a Crummy Valentine. They showed a bunch of old, like, 1930s cartoons that would have been inspirational to Crumb. Then they had, he's a musician. He has a band called the Leisure Suit Serenaders, where they play this old-timey music with accordion and, whatever. They had a local band that does that played live, and then they showed Crumb. And it was like, we walked out of there just like, oh my God, it was the greatest night ever. And it's a depressing movie in a lot of ways too, but it is just amazing. Then see American Splendor after you've watched Crumb, and you will thank me. And you will also tell me.
Put it on your list, Phil.
You will also tell me that Paul Giamatti it's his greatest role. He is amazing in this film.
This just turned into a movie.
You never know what you're going to get, right? You never know what you're going to get.
I love it.
Well, we bought the movies are on the mind. We just bought the Stubbs thing at AMC. We haven't gone to movies in so long. We used to go all the time, right? We haven't gone in so long. So we went to see...
Barbenheimer?
No, wait, hold on. We were here. This was when we were here, right? When we were at this house that we're at. So it was a month ago. We had nothing to do, and we're like, and Dave said, why don't we go see a movie? And I was like, yeah, I'm always down for a movie, even though I've seen like 2 since COVID started. So we went and we saw, and nothing was playing, so we saw Mission Impossible, which she doesn't like Tom Cruise at all. I love those Mission Impossible movies. Here's my rating. It's kind of the worst one. Visually, it was stunning.
Okay.
Because
that's what you go for.
But the acting was...
The plot, yeah.
The acting was bad. Hallie Atwell, I'm a huge fan of. I think she's fantastic. And she was cardboard in it because I think Tom Cruise made everybody cardboard, so it could be the Tom Cruise show. And I thought he was...
Well, you kind of know that, unless you're Jamie Foxx back when they were, like, really good friends, he kind of... It's the only person he's ever really gone out of his way to not be Tom Cruise in a movie with, so...
Which was Collateral was a great movie.
Great movie.
But this one, visually great, dumb as shit, though. That the script, I mean, once again, I guess it's the writer's strike that wasn't happening when that was written, affected this movie, because it was terrible script. Really dumb. And I've really enjoyed them. I was so excited for this, but no.
It's a movie you can watch with the sound off. You're not going to miss it.
Yeah, but visually, really cool. So we did that, and while we're there, they showed this thing for you could get the season or the monthly passes. And she was like, we should do this. And I'm thinking, that's cool, but this type of theater isn't really by us. And then we went home, and we looked up what are some of the good deals on those, and AMC has this great deal. So we did it. All 3 of us have subscriptions to AMC. We've been going to at least 2 movies a week. Since then, we saw Oppenheimer, and then we didn't do it in one sitting. We went a couple days later and saw Barbie. Both of them highest ratings. I loved them. We all loved them. What else did we see? I don't know. But we've been going to movies, and it's been a blast.
No more Cocaine Bear, the sequel.
Oh, I would see that in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me, Lilith? I was flipping through the other night.
Think on Peacock, like it's like on literally like it's like on the screen. That and Fast and Furious. So every time I turn on a Peacock, it's like
Cocaine
Bear. Watch it now. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I loved it, but yeah, I'm not going back to that well anytime soon. But I mean, even though I loved it, but I saw there was Cocaine Shark was on one of them, and I was like, ooh. There was Cocaine like Wallaby. I'm like, you know what? Wild animal eats a bag of cocaine. I'm going to watch it every time.
Welcome to Florida.
Everyone loves cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine.
That's great, though.
Cocaine Governor.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not watching that, hopefully.
Don't blame cocaine on that. Cocaine's offended by that.
Right.
Yeah, it's good that you're getting out to see movies. Like, I think, like, the movie, well, it was starting to make kind of a comeback, but now it's kind of more going back into the toilet, unfortunately. So... You know, because of the writer's strike and stuff. Yeah, but they're still there, and you know, we're having fun. We went and saw. It's hard to go see movies now, though, with the strike. I feel a little guilty.
Well, I don't, because in that respect, it was paid. You don't want the studios to crumble. I mean, yes, you kind of do, but you kind of don't, because if they crumble too quickly here, the theaters go away too. Nobody gets what they want. Yeah. Right. So by doing this, we're actually supporting the theater because you're paying like $22 and you get to see 3 movies a week for the month, every month. Like, well,
they're going to get you on the popcorn.
Right, but if you don't buy popcorn, but the studios aren't making bank off of that. Yeah. You know? I'm actually a big fan of this, and I'm hoping that what happened last time is they started doing a little bit more revival stuff. Yeah. They'd re-release some of those older ones. I would love that. I would love if they started doing that instead of making it. You got to pay $40 to see Princess Mononoke. How about make it a regular release again and double dip? And people will go. Movies don't have to be dead. You know, start filling it up like a revival theater. You know, we went and saw at that theater the one time we saw Blowout. You know, the John Travolta movie. Yeah. Which is a great movie. Oh, I had a blowout. Oh. And then I gotta go dance. And then we saw, look at the baby's talking to me, Ma. Alone. And then there's a baby talking. How funny is that, Ma? And then we saw what? Where? That's my Travolta. And then we saw a double feature with Pulp Fiction, and it was like with my gun. But that was great. What a great setup. And then the one night, this was my favorite, they showed 3 Marx Brothers movies. We sat in a triple feature, and it was like, your guts hurt afterwards. You're like, and it was funnier on the screen than any place I've ever seen it. And we saw, if you can see Harold and Maude on a screen.
Harold and Maude is one of my favorites. It's a little weird. It's a little unconventional.
Oh,
but it's a good movie.
we love that movie in our house. And we saw it on the screen. And look, I got to tell you, if you're a fan of that movie, as well as we knew it, there are moments that you only catch on the screen. There's a moment, I can't remember where it was. It might have been when when the military guy it falls down the hole, when they're on the thing, and he's gone. Or no, when Ruth Gordon falls down the hole, and poof, she's gone. And the military guy is standing there with his arm, There's a moment in there that I had seen the movie 30 times. Never caught it till you saw it on the screen. And when it happened on the screen, the whole audience burst out laughing. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful.
Well, that's how they made movies back then, in that particular time, because there wasn't really home release at that time. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like certain movies you really do have to see on IMAX because of those things, too, though. Even modern
Oppenheimer.
movies.
Oppenheimer on IMAX was, oh my God. I don't think I'd want to watch it any other way. It was like, I couldn't believe.
You also have to have
shot.
a studio, a movie place that has good sound, too, nowadays.
Yes.
Has to be Dolby Atmos, or I don't want it.
Yep. Unless it's a revival place and you're like, hey, you're showing it on a sheet in some attic somewhere. Okay. I don't care about the sound. I'll still watch it. But yeah, if you're paying to go to the theater, you want it full bore. Plus, you want to have those seats so you can put your feet up.
So, quick Marvel question, and I'm going to throw out to both of you. Do you guys feel like they should, as Charlie would say, turn into the skid, or should we be rebooting the MCU?
Turn into the skid. Don't reboot. Realign. I think what they need to do, the skid they're experiencing. Well, here's the deal. The skid they're experiencing, they have actually had really good movies in this phase. Okay? The problem is they're going to the well with characters that people don't know as well. So Shang-Chi was actually a really fun movie, and if it had been in phase 1, he'd be a huge character for them. I think that it was popular. It did well. But because they had all those TV shows in the middle, people have kind of forgotten that. When they did Eternals was a hard sell. And I didn't like the first 20 minutes, but then after that, I fell in love with it. When I went back to watch it, I did not love the first 20 minutes again. So they've got some issues, right? I don't think they've had a bunch of bad movies, although I don't think Marvel's looks good, okay? But I think they should lean into it. I think they should work this skid out. They should hire, they should get rid of Jonathan Major.
Do you think they need new blood? I think they need to stop going to the same well again and again. That's why it's getting a little stale for people. I agree. And they also need to do something. So when they did Thor and they went to Tiki again, it didn't have the magic. It wasn't as good. That was a big disappointment. If that had been as good as Thor 3, bam, people would be talking about Phase 4 being awesome. That one was a real stinker for them. So you had people
Eternals.
Don't even know what Phase 4 was about. I think that's the main thing.
That's the problem. And to have this issue with Kang, with Jonathan Major, fix it. Get Denzel's kid to play Kang, or get Denzel to play Kang. Get both of them to play Kang.
He's going to be playing Dracula, so we're just going to let Denzel play Dracula.
But get them both to play, so you have him doing a time slip where you see him in the two. That would be, oh my God, that would be amazing. Yeah. And no one's going to think about Jonathan Major.
With Lawrence Fishburne and his son, yeah.
Right. No one's going to think about Jonathan Major at that point. There's some kind of stink around Jonathan Major. This is going to cause a problem for them. Okay? So realign that thing and stop with the filler shows. Do your Loki. Loki's a prestige character. You were introducing Ms. Marvel, which was great, but by the end of that series, I didn't make it to the end because it was like I felt like I'd already seen it all. There's a lot they could do to fix, but they don't need to reboot. They don't need to reboot.
But do you think the corporation, they're like, why not? At this
point. They might, but I don't think so. They're still making a lot of money.
Disney's in trouble. So I think in the times of financial trouble, what's the easiest thing to do? Clear everybody that's making all this money that's already well established and start over with somebody new and cheaper.
Sure, but they don't want to kill the golden cow here either.
Well, they've already kind of done it. They're they were so used to making a guaranteed $1 billion that now they're scared. And Bob Iger's not the best person.
No.
Like, I was very shocked as a shareholder to have him back, and we see how that's going right now.
Not great. Well, and there is all that rumor about Apple buying it and blah, blah, blah. No, I say do not reboot, lean into it. But when I say lean into it, it's not like, hey, go with what you got.
To lower their expectations.
Lower the expectations and figure out how to give that Avengers punch.
Can it be done? Can you pull that off again?
Yeah, they could. They got to get the right directors involved again. They got to get the right directors in place.
Yeah, I feel like nobody's hungry over there. Honestly, everybody's just kind of copy paste print.
Well, and think about it. After like phase 2, phase 3, everybody talked about the directors. Phase 4, who talks about the directors?
Yeah, exactly.
Hired guns.
Except for Sam Raimi, with the exception of Sam Raimi, maybe.
Right. Sam Raimi did something different too. I think that's what they need to do is go back to that, but they don't need to reboot. They could, but they should
pull the trigger already. Fantastic Four and X-Men. Come on.
Right. And they are. They're getting there.
Yeah,
they're getting there.
Deadpool they better not change that name. I'm going to tell you that much.
Deadpool is going to be big.
Oh, Deadpool, yeah.
Maybe.
Deadpool 3 is going to work. It's going to work. And what that's going to do is everyone's going to get excited and they're going to go, oh, it's funny like Taika Waititi again. It's going to be violent. And it's going to be Deadpool. And it's going to be a tone that they need to let happen. And then they need to get away from trying to be quippy and funny because their best work generally is not that. It's they're telling a good story and making it exciting and fun. I used to talk about it on Enough Said all the time. What really, really worked for the MCU that did not work for DC was every movie they were building a Marvel story in a different genre of film. Mm-hmm. And that worked. And now they're not doing that. Now they're just trying to get as many characters on screen as they can and have them do a little fight. And, this one loves this one. And we might as well let Berlanti run this universe.
Ooh.
Take that, Arrow.
I mean, listen, Berlanti's got more money than he knows what to do with. So, somebody likes it.
Yeah, well, DC should have let him run.
I had that same complaint. Listen, I said all his female characters were literally copied. Like, Supergirl is just Felicity.
Yep,
Supergirl.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
But you know what? If he had run the DCEU...
It would have been more consistent.
I'll
tell you that.
It wouldn't have...
Something to be said for consistency.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been quite the turd it was. But it wouldn't have competed with Marvel.
Nolan should have just took the damn money. That's it. He should have just took the damn money and done it.
Yeah, but he didn't want to do that. Look, he's making Oppenheimer. He made Dunkirk. He doesn't want to be stuck in this world of superheroes. If he could make the story of Dunkirk with DC characters, then he'd be intrigued.
It's called Injustice.
But if he could tell that story with minimal fighting,
it's called Kingdom Come.
But they're not going to let him do that. You can't do Kingdom Come and build a universe off of it. It's over.
That's the problem. We don't need to build a universe. I'm sorry.
Right, but they do.
I am sick of it.
They think they do. Now,
DC works best when there's no universe.
When you talk about rebooting or whatever, Secret War is where the reboot's going to happen. Everything's going to change for Marvel. Once they do that, then they can go back to the well and do whatever they want. Then they can retell. They can make a new Iron Man and a new this, and not just make it Iron Heart.
Lead.
They can,
Iron Lead.
yeah.
Oh God! The Beyonder's gonna fix everything. Charlie, where are you?
Coming, Phil. Prepare yourself.
What?
I'm telling you, Secret War is going to be where they either at the end of the day crap the bed, or that's the swan song, and now they can reboot, and it still ties to it. They can still play in the sandbox, but it's a new game. Endgame kind of did that, but they didn't have a game to play.
Yeah.
That
was the unfortunate part. You really saw it kind of come up and like, okay, now what?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that had to do with Fox. With them getting Fox, they should have jumped in, and we should have already had an X-Men movie by now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want them to rush it, though. Because the Fox movies, at the end of the day...
No, it's been 4 years. What the hell? We should at least have an announcement.
We should have one coming out now.
I would prefer Fantastic Four makes more sense than X-Men for me, because they really need to do something about that franchise.
Yeah, they do, but they're going to...
It's fine. X-Men will be fine if you leave it alone for 10 years.
If it wasn't for Deadpool, X-Men are going to age out of being able to use them.
True.
You want to be able to use some of that cast to tie that thread, because that's what it's all built on. If you don't do that, you're screwed. So we can't have just...
Yeah, look at New Mutants.
Right. Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. You can't... But they waited too long to at least even build the hype around an X-Men thing. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is trying to build it all on his shoulders by, he got Wolverine back. He's trying to do
He's got a strong back, but it ain't that strong.
That's right. That's right.
He's trying to be the next Robert Downey Jr.
Well, he will be.
He should be. He's got the thing right.
He's a writer, producer. He's got the money to be a producer, and he's got the chops to act and pull it off, and he has that fan base.
Yep. And Robert Downey Jr. should absolutely come back as Oracle. You know what I mean? He absolutely should. It's one of those things that when we get to the Kang dynasty, that's when he comes back. Or you cast a really great actor in the Iron Man role. Now you have an opportunity to
Time to bring Tom Cruise in, baby. Let's do this.
Please don't. Please don't. And don't give it to Timothée Chalamet or whatever his name is either. I don't want him. The
fact that they didn't choose Jeremy Allen, who looks so much like Gene Wilder, is ridiculous. But they were trying to go with the Johnny Depp interpretation, which is even crazier because nobody liked that interpretation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's stupid. It's stupid. It's bad, and they should go.
They should.
Damn it, Warner Brothers.
Oh my God.
Together.
I'm going to go. We're about done, but I got one more thing. Speaking of Jeremy, The Bear is one of the greatest shows I've ever watched.
So good.
You watched season 2, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm in mourning because it's over. I'm waiting for season 3.
Yeah, it's not going to be till 2025 at the earliest.
And I mean, you want to talk about an actor? I mean, everybody on that show is like top tier, but Jeremy is Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is.
Have you ever seen Shameless?
Oh yeah, we watched the whole thing, and he is. Him and Cameron, whatever. As much as I liked the cast and everything, and of course Frank is just the show is Frank, but those two, the acting by those two guys, Cameron Monaghan. Yeah. Oh my God, the acting. Those guys, unbelievable. Those are guys that I can't wait to see what's next. You know what I mean? And The Bear is just so great. So everybody watch The Bear and then watch it again so they make more. So good. Exactly. All right, that's it.
No plug? No plugs?
Come see me at Indy. Come see me at Indy PopCon. I will be there end of August. I'll be in
the 25th through the 27th.
Yep, I'll be in Writers Row, selling books, meeting people, signing Pod Life, podcasting. I'll be doing panels. We've got an incredible lineup of people, and it hasn't been announced to the world yet, but Jeff Strand is one of the authors there. He wrote the novelization of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. We are doing a screening of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes with a Q&A. A Q&A with him. It's going to be spectacular. So get out to Indy PopCon. And if you're a listener, come up and say hi. Let me know, because I'd be shocked.
Just go with the number 3, dude.
Yeah. Walk up and just like one of these. I'll be like, oh yeah, third best. I get it. Come up and say Gotham. I'll go, oh, you're a Capes fan. I know.
And if people can't meet you there and they want to improve or if they want some podcast tips, is there a place they can go for
marketing,
that?
All of the above.
Yeah.
You can go to anything in the Southgate Media Group. Any email that you find, it goes right to me. Rob at SMG Pods goes right to me.
Are you still allowed to do consulting and all that stuff on the side now? Or?
Yeah, I can do whatever I want.
I do not want.
I mean, the only thing that's changed is she's got me doing so many things. She's like, I'm trying to lock you up so you can't do other things. But you know me, I've got a capacity. I got some kind of capacity that's pretty wild. So, I can definitely help people out, and I love it. I love doing that. I consulted with a guy yesterday, and he walked away. He was shocked because nobody's told him the truth about some of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, you're about to spend a lot of money you don't need to spend. Here's how you do it, blah, 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 blah. And he was like knocked out. So let me knock you out. That sounded weird. You can find me there. You can write me to Rob at SMG Pods. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter as R Southgate, or X.
Don't get it to you.
R Southgate. or Rob Southgate on Instagram. And I'm posting a lot of stuff about PopCon there right now. I'll be posting a lot about other things there. And go to Kickstarter and look up Cthulhu Dreamt. I think you had Jaron on here a while ago. They have their Kickstarter going right now. They're trying to, they hit their number in under 24 hours. But they have another 29 days to go or something ridiculous for this game. And the game, oh my God, they have done so many tweaks and so many things. They tried to launch it before and it was doing okay, but then they decided they wanted to go back to the drawing board and make it, a AAA title, and they really have. So if you like gaming at all, tell your friends if they're into gaming, Cthulhu Dreamt. It's got a metal soundtrack. It is just the coolest thing. There's my plug.
Capes and Lunatics episode 304, if you want, the link's in the show notes.
There you go. And if you want to hear the people involved in it, I interviewed, I think, 13 different people from it for TTRPG Insider. So all month long, those are dropping. You can hear, it's just awesome. Everything from like artists to musicians on it to the game designer, everybody. It's really cool. And new media lab coming.
Sure.
I did another really great interview. I'm ready to start dropping them. So get ready. These are good ones.
Do the thing, Robert.
These are good ones. I'm excited. All right, I'm out.
Wow, you people have witnessed history in the making. Robert Southgate has edited himself. We're here on a momentous day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, guys. This was fun.
Always. It's always fun. Never know where we're going to get with a Robert Southgate.
You never know. I didn't think
know.
it was going here tonight, but I'm happy it did. Also, I love hearing this song every time we do it.
Oh, that's the whole reason I do the show is listening to this song.
Yep, Patrik Tanner and the Faraway Men. I shot the album cover. Did I tell you that? If you look at the album, if you go to Spotify, that's my photo.
He just name dropped himself.